This is without a doubt why I work 5 days a week. Saturday morning, Larry the Laramie, Larry the Diesel Laramie, warming up on the driveway. Well, boy, he was bored all week. USS Liberty, the unsinkable warship, boat waiting for me for a nice trip. They say don't warm up your truck, it's not good for the engine. 4 bottles of water. Who said that I'm warming it because it's good for the engine? I'm warming it because I like it. What about me? Yeah, listen to this. Yeah, listen. That's why I warm it up, to listen to this. It was 55 degrees this morning. Now when I get in the truck, the oil will be 100 degrees, the engine oil. The transmission oil will be 80 degrees. When I go down the road, the engine will sound nice, the lifters and everything, because it's warmed up. The transmission will shift smooth because it's warmed up. I was right. 110, trans 84. Now we can go down the road. Of course, it's not a perfect morning without a can of this magic stuff. Yeah, baby. Good morning to you folks. You know where we are. This is the Paradise spot. I fished here 2 weeks ago. We're a little bit late today. It's exactly 7:25 in the morning right now. Last time I was here it was 7:00. I was already here on this spot. We still don't have yellow leaves. Last time I was here there was no fish here on the shallow at all, which is my favorite place to fish because it looks like paradise. You guys that are up north in Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin, if your leaves are already yellow, the crappie is on the bank. If you know some spot that the crappie comes on the bank every year, they will keep coming every year. And when the leaves get yellow, that's when the crappie will be on the bank. Well, they're not yellow yet, but I'm gonna give it a check. Last time didn't catch nothing here. Well, I caught 3 bluegill, but I didn't put them in the video. But closer to the main lake we did find a school of crappie. We're gonna give it a quick check now. This is the best time of the whole day, so I'm not gonna sit here and investigate for 1 hour. If I don't find, man, look how beautiful it is. Absolutely magical. I have so much tackle to test today. That's addition to my paradise. Like it's not perfect enough, but on top of that I have absolutely amazing tackle. Every rod that I lift out of the rod holder is amazing. Look at this. This is just paradise on top of the paradise. Perfect rod, perfect reel, perfect line, perfect jig, and perfect lure. Everything is perfect. This tree, I don't know if you can see it, holds just a couple of fish. It is kind of dangerous, but you can see with live scope that the tree has no branches. So as long as you don't hit the tree, you should be okay. Yeah, this is what I see, a few baby dots. And there are times where I would stay and catch small bluegill and have fun. And let me tell you, catching this bluegill with this rod and reel is still fun. The slow taper eradicator combined with 500 size reel and 1.7 pound line and this super finesse jig and lure. It still made a nice, what happened here? It still made a nice bite and a nice fight. I'm actually seeing more bluegill right on the bank, but I don't wanna, well, something hit way over here. I don't wanna cast, yeah, that was a dangerous cast. It's actually easier to cast right by the tree with a float for several reasons. The float, first of all, flies slower. I don't know how to, it just flies slower. Maybe because I kind of lob the float. This is difficult to lob. Second of all, I can see the float, and when the float is flying, just when it's about to hit the tree, I stop it. But with the lure, look, we hit the tree. With the lure, it's very hard to stop it. Okay, and now my preferred method is, if I can, just break the branch. Now the trolling motor is absolutely retarded. Trolling motor is not gonna help you. Man, this branch is difficult to break. But break it, I will. Yeah, it's easier with the float. Man, I still see fish under the tree. Let me gently back out of here. This is impossible to do with a Garmin with the foot pedal. I'm here to tell you that. I will testify in court. It doesn't listen that blank thing. You fill in the blank. It doesn't listen. It's easier with the remote. One more customer. And I thought this could be a small crappie, but it ain't. Male though. James Peterson from Michigan. Shout out to you, buddy. That guy is always sending me some 10-inch bluegill from Michigan. But I noticed his 10-inch bluegill are always female. And you can tell when they're 10-inch. When they're babies, you don't know. But when they're 10-inch, you can tell which one is male. I was wondering why you never send me a big male bluegill. What is going on in Michigan? Yes. And look at this gorgeous bank. And this is a crappie. And this is a crappie. Okay, it's a small crappie, but that's the usual customers here. Actually, there are some very nice crappie in this lake. I've caught 14 inchers out of here. They get competitive for food. So this is the 1 gram number 12. Let's switch, it's kind of deep here, to the 125-10 so we can sink a little faster and And they don't swallow the hook. Yep, 125.10. And they don't swallow the hook so deep like this guy. This color is pretty invisible early in the morning. Let's see if they see it. It's a good color. It's like a purple with some flake. It's a good color for 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. It's a good color for close to noon, when the sun is out and you have good visibility. But this one saw it. When the water is kind of darkish and there is no light, how can they see purple color is beyond me. It looks nearly the same as the water. Purple is actually naturally very visible color. The wavelength of purple is just going further than the wavelength of the red or yellow, for example. It's a few crappie by the bank here, but just like the last time, folks, they're not on the bank. They're in front of the bank, if that makes sense. They're in front of the bank. You can still cast from the bank, you see where I'm, but they're not right on the bank like when the leaves are yellow or in the spring. You can dip your rod in front of the grass and there'll be crappie there. Boy, this guy saw the purple. This guy saw the purple right away. Like, what is this? Male? It's a little bit different body shape. Very tall. Okay. This feels like Mr. Crappie. Yeah. Come here, Mr. Crappie. By the way, if you see the Vanquish, that means we're fishing with the new Beleza EUX, the 6'8" super ultra light. That's not that bad of a crappie. Still can't break the 10-inch mark. There's one. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. A school of these guys. But they are heavily mixed with bluegill. It's not always the case. Usually they kind of separate a little bit from the bluegill. But these are just mixed and there is no telling. Yeah. I'm thinking 9 inches, not even 9.5. There is something. Yeah, one more. One more. Catching these very high though, because I cannot run the 125.10 on the bottom. Can you believe it? I even saw it on live scope. That was not on the bottom. But I want to run on the bottom because usually the interesting stuff is on the bottom. Let's switch weapons here. I hope YouTube algorithm doesn't negatively hit my video because I used some trigger word. I want a 1.5. Yeah, that's actually the same color, but we got sun now. And it's gonna sink a little bit faster. Presso Air AGS and the old Soare. There is a new Soare, but I haven't bought it yet. I'm gonna buy it, but I gotta tell you, I think the old one will be better than the new. I just have a feeling. Because the new one doesn't look good. The new one, they put silver colors in it. Since when Soare has silver colors? Okay. Oh, there's one. This one came from 14 feet deep. Yeah, it is a crappie. But it is not any bigger. Ain't any bigger. Yeah, buddy. Maybe a little bit bigger. I don't know. I don't know how this got hooked, but it's always good to have a micro barb. Makes it a little bit easier. Hey, I think this one is the first close to 10 inches. Still probably south of 10 inches. My goodness. I was fixing my drag here. I don't know why the clicker doesn't want to click right now. There is something in the clicker that is kind of rubbing in. Some particle of dust or something. And it cannot make the full noise. I was just fixing it. This is what it's supposed to sound. Sounds amazing when it works, but when you haven't used it a few months, it's always kind of glued and takes a few fish to get it to sound properly. See what this is. Yep. So we did find the school of crappie, but exactly like 2 weeks ago, they are in the same spot. My God, folks, did you see that? I don't know if I captured it in the frame of the camera, but this was the explosion of a 5-pound bass. That's my opinion, my honest opinion. This was the explosion of a 5-pound bass. Yeah, right on the bank. I don't think this is 10 inches yet. If I catch one that's close to 10 inches, I'll go put it on the board, just so I can tell the world. There's one. Yeah. Maybe I need to start keeping this crappie too. There's too many small crappie. They're all small. They're all 8 inchers. Do I have like a bag or something? I'm gonna start doing this, folks. Not the crappie. I'm gonna let the crappie go, but gotcha! This clicker is not cooperating with me today. When I get home, I'm gonna open it and oil it. They don't say to put oil there, they say put thread walker so you don't lose the screw, because if you lose that screw, you're kind of screwed. No pun intended. Is this one 10 inches? I don't think so. They're all the same. Let's measure just one. I don't think he's 10. But yeah, these old Vanford family reels, when you don't fish with them for a few months, you pull them out, the clicker is kind of silent. Don't, I can stretch it perfectly and straighten the tail to get 10 inches, but you get the idea. That's not really 10 inches. There he is. The reason I'm still staying here is I'm catching only crappie. And I'm weird like that. I like crappie. Even when it's 9 inches, it makes I fish very, very happy. Nothing wrong. Let me tell you, there ain't nothing wrong with 9-inch crappie. Gotcha! Gotcha! Little rascals. Little rascals, but they are not messing around. They're here to feed. Cannot wait for them to get on the shallow so I can catch them with the 1 gram and the float, and I can fish pitching to the bank. Now I'm sitting on the bank, but I'm pitching in the middle of the cove. And that's where the fish are right now. They're kind of staged up, if you will, in the middle of the cove, waiting for some temp or something to come shallow. Let's see. Man, baby boogie. You know what I'm gonna do, folks? I have a, not spot lock, but talon dropped behind me. I'm gonna lift the talon, and in the last, 15 or 20 minutes fishing time of the video will be 5 minutes of your watching time. I wanna move around the cove, try to find something a little bit different. Most of these fish here are crappie, but they're very small, and I do want to catch at least one nice fish per video. Give me a minute. No, my theory is wrong. What is this, yellow bass? Yep, called it. That's the first fish that pulls today. First fish, I'm telling you. Even the 9-inch crappie did not pull. This prick is a little bit too small to be more joy than nuisance. Under 10 inches, they are more nuisance than joy. Over 10-inch, yellow bass becomes more joy than nuisance. You know, folks, let's do the last few casts with a different rod. Just for fun. Presso Air AGS, even today, feels like royalty. You know, I love these Beleza rods, but this thing is lighter and it feels very dry. I don't know why dry, but that's the word that comes to mind. And the other rods, the Belezas for example, I mean, they're just as kind of bendy and elastic and everything, But I can tell there is more rubber in the blank. It's not just pure carbon. And this one, when you're fighting the fish, you feel everything coming to your hand during the fight of the fish. Let's catch the last few fish with the 6-foot tubeleze, which to me has a stiffer tip and a slower, more elegant bend curve, just slower progression. Oh wow, what a difference, folks. Just 30 minutes ago there was plenty of small crappie here. No giants, but plenty of small crappie. Folks, let me give you a tip. If you are fishing from the bank without live scopes and that sort of stuff, and you want to catch crappie shallow in the fall, I don't know, in the spring is different, they will stay there because they're spawning. But in the fall they come on the bank, and as early as 9 o'clock, I feel that they pull back towards the middle of the cove or the main lake. So I can tell you it's worth getting up early in the morning if you fish from the bank. It's gonna be easier to catch a few crappie from 6:30 to 9 than from 9 to 11. Don't feel like a crappie. Look how far I am from where I fished this morning, folks. The crappie, I am telling you, are completely out of here. The crappie were here in the morning and are no longer here now. If you want to go for crappie, I say to you, it is worth getting up early in the morning. Just go early, and 9 o'clock, 9:30, you can call it quits. Fish. Feels like a crappie. Oh my gosh. If this is a crappie, this is the first crappie in many casts and many minutes. It is a crappie. Small one, but folks, I'm out of here. I will repeat my advice from a few minutes ago. If you want to catch crappie from the bank in the fall, I think it's worth going early in the morning, folks. I mean, this was full of small schools of small crappie. I mean, it's gone now. First I thought they came in the middle of the cove, but they're not even in the middle of the cove. I think these little rascals are on the way out of the cove completely, towards the main lake. Once the sun is out, I think the water becomes more transparent, and I don't know, maybe they feel like they're not as safe here anymore. I don't know what the reason is, but when the sun came out, these guys were out of here until next morning, I think. But we definitely caught enough fish. I think I caught fish on every rig except the float. This is the last one we used, the original 6-foot tubeleze UX. This is the 500 size Luvius STSF. This one is 2.1 pound polyester, a 1.5 gram jig, little Chinese plastic with kicktail on the back. We still had a good hour and a half of fishing, but I really think it's time to go now, because from now on it will be just wasting time. So thank you guys for watching another one, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye, folks.